exciting sessions lined up as part of Tooling and Front-End Tuesdays. I am Srinivasan Neelamegam, developer advocate at SAP, and I will be the host for this session. The session for today is Best Practices for Quickly Building Extensions to SAP SuccessFactors by Twinkle Shah. Twinkle is a development expert from SAP SuccessFactors integration team. Before we begin, a quick reminder to our participants to join the Devtoberfest group in the SAP community to register for the contest. The grand prize is an all-expense paid trip to one of the TechEd event locations in 2026. We will also be sharing a validation tutorial by end of today covering questions from all the sessions today, and the link will be available in the description box. You may also post your questions on the session in the YouTube chat. Now, let's welcome Twinkle. Twinkle, you may introduce yourself and show us what you have.
Hi everyone, thank you Srinivasan for that introduction. Hi everyone, so I'm Twinkle Shah, working with SuccessFactors, and I've been working with SAP for almost 11 years now, and mainly expertise on the integrations and extensions areas. Yeah, without taking much time, we'll start into the today's session. I'll share the content here. Okay, so we are talking about best practices for quickly building the extensions to SuccessFactors. So here is the agenda. We'll start with a little bit of introduction and the topic for the today using the extensibility wizard. And then we'll talk about what are the different kind of extensions which we could build and how they are simplified using the wizard. Okay, I think there is some issue with the share. I'm just resharing the content.
Yeah, we can see your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so first we are starting with a little bit of introduction. Many of you might be already aware that what are the extensions, what are the types of extension. So why we need extensions is SuccessFactors being a cloud product, it provides some standard solutions to the customers. But then every industry, every customer will have their own specific needs and they need those extended capabilities. So that's what we are talking about extension, where you are customizing your standard functionality. You build the integrations with other systems. So you have SuccessFactors product, but then you have any other products as well, and you want to integrate those different systems. And then using this integrations, you are able to enhance the user experience. So that's why we need the extension capabilities. Now, there are different types of extensions. Say some of, here broadly, we are categorizing them into two kinds of extensions. So one is, say, in-app extensions, and then another is side-by-side. By in-app extensions, what we mean is which the extensions which you create within SuccessFactors. So you might be aware that there are capability of creating MDF objects, the metadata objects, where you could create your own custom object. SuccessFactors also provides many capabilities where you could add custom fields to your standard objects. So those are the kind of extensions which are being done within the SuccessFactors itself. Then there could be another set of extensions which are side by side. So you build those extensions outside SuccessFactors, but then you link them to the standard processes or the flow of the SuccessFactors. Some examples could be custom process. So, we'll go into the details of custom process, but then, for example, you have an onboarding process. There is a standard process which SuccessFactors has delivered, and you want to customize it, right? You want to add some additional steps to it. So that becomes your custom process. Custom applications, so you want to build your own applications, and then you want to give some extended capability via those other custom applications. So the applications are those processes which are deployed outside SuccessFactors. They are running somewhere outside SuccessFactors. So those are what we are calling as side-by-side extensions. With this basic introduction, we get into the new feature which we are introducing within SuccessFactors around extensibility. So what we are introducing is extensibility wizard. Now this wizard is a solution coming from SAP BTP, the Business Technology Platform. So it is one of the component under the SAP Build umbrella. This comes as a common component to build any kind of extension. So it will act as a one-stop solution to building any extensions. What additional things we get is this wizard would be context sensitive. So based on the SuccessFactors page from where you are launching the wizard, you'll see the options which are relevant for that specific application and the page. Also, this will give a unified extensibility experience both across different pages within SuccessFactors as well as across SAP products. So this is the wizard. Um, and next we'll start, we'll move into the hands-on. First type of extension we are talking about is a custom process kind of extension. Let's look at the use case which we want to build. So as I was mentioning, like SuccessFactors onboarding product, it gives a standard onboarding flow. Now, as a customer, there is a need to customize that flow, right? So there is this standard flow, which say it has a step called you initiate the onboarding. You review the new hire data. So hiring manager is reviewing the new hire data. Once that review is done, any other further processing is happening. Now, this is a standard onboarding flow which is available in the SuccessFactors. But then, as a customer, there is a need that you want to extend this. How you want to extend is here we see there is an extension flow which needs to be created. So, after the hiring manager has reviewed the data, you want to trigger an extension. So here we say custom process with the extension. After this hiring review is completed, after that we want to trigger a custom extension. That extension, it will be a process which is doing a background verification. So the verifier, the background verifier or the admin will receive a notification with the required data, and with that data they can perform the background verification and at the end come back to the process, either approve the verification or reject the verification. Once this verification is done, then only you want to resume your processing in the SuccessFactors. So this is like a blocking extension. In the standard SuccessFactors onboarding process, you are introducing an extension. Once that extension is completed, then only you resume your process. So this is our use case. That's what we are trying to build. Now we'll get into the hands-on here. So yeah, now we are here in the SuccessFactors page. We go to first step we'll do is there is this application called Process Variant Manager. So as an onboarding admin, we want to design that process, right? So we talked that there is a standard flow and we want to hook in this extended flow into it. So we are defining one of that custom onboarding flow. So here, if we see, there is a default onboarding process which is delivered as the standard process by SuccessFactors. So this is the standard process which is delivered. So now, but you want to plug in your custom process, which is the background verification. So to do that, we have created a simplified onboarding process, called it as demo onboarding process here. Now this is a little bit of simplified version of the standard process, but then additionally, we have now here you have a start data and then you have a review new hire data. As we talked in the use case, on the review new hire data, once that step is done, we want to put an extension. How to do that is now you get this option of selecting an extension point. So you can say review new hire data extension. Once that is completed, so you can enable this checkbox. So once that is completed, an extension will be invoked. And you can give a label. We are calling it as a background verification. So we enable this extension point checkbox. We give a label to it, which will be our process, the extended process. Same thing you could also do with the personal data collection. So the extension point is also available with the personal data collection step. So after any of these two steps, we can do this extension. So our process is now, the process variant, onboarding process variant is ready here. We close this. Okay, sorry. So now this is the process variant which we have built in SuccessFactors. Now we want to build an extended process to it. The extended process, to build it, what you do is you click on this user menu, you see this create extension option here. Clicking on the extension option, it launches the extensibility wizard. So what we will do is the extended process will be built on the SAP build process automation. So while the wizard is launching, yeah. So on this page, we see one of the option, which is custom process. And then we also get an information what kind of extension is it. So it also says that it will be deployed on BTP via build process automation. So we say, I want to create a custom process. We click on next. How this process needs to be triggered. So we want to trigger this process via an event. So once the new hire data review is done, that raises an event from SuccessFactors. On that event, I want to trigger this background verification. So I select the business event here, and we also select, so this event is part of onboarding processing. So we select that, and here we'll see all the list of events which are available as part of this onboarding process. So we can see different events which are available. Out of this, for now, we want to do new hire data completed, review new hire data completed. So we select this event. We give a name to our extension, say background verification flow, and we can give some description. We review it. Yeah, it all looks okay. We click on create. So this will go ahead and create an extension for us, as I mentioned, in the process automation. It gives us an initial template for our process, also with the event which we wanted to use. So it says extension is now available. We click on open extension. So this will launch our extension on the build process automation. Yeah, so once this loads, so this would be a basic template of this process. And then as an admin or the implementation persona, we have to extend this. Okay. Right. So we see this is the basic process which got created. It also has the trigger, which is our event trigger, review new hire data completed. So we click on this flow. Right. Now, as part of this flow, what we want to do. So this is, I mean, just the basic flow, which says it will trigger. And yeah, we can also see what fields or what content we are receiving as part of this event. So this flow is just an empty flow with a start, which is an event, and an end. Now, in between this, we will build the background verification flow. For the background verification, first thing what we want to do is we want to get the data of that particular new hire in the system, right? So to perform a background verification, you need some data. To get that data, we can make a call to SuccessFactors. Your event, it has a couple of fields. So for example, we have this person ID, which using which we can get more data about that particular person. So we try to get that data for a person. To do that, here we have to build an action. Now, before we can use an action, we also have to create an action project in the process automation. So this is the process automation build lobby. We go to actions here, click on create. So actions is nothing but the API calls, right? So we can, many of you might be aware, SuccessFactors provide a lot of, OData APIs. So we can use this OData APIs to get the person's detail. So I've selected Accelerator Hub as the source of information. We select SuccessFactors here. And we know this information will be available via Employee Central APIs. So we click on Employee Central here. And personal information is what we are looking at. So we will try to build a form which contains information like first name, last name, some of those fields, which we will be able to get using this personal information API. So we select that particular API here. Yeah, it looks okay. We click on create. So this opens an actions project for us. We'll only add the actions which we are looking for. So we will query say per person to get the personal information, and we'll do it for one specific person. So that's where we are seeing get entity for per person by key. So we select this, we add this. Right, so you have the person ID here. We'll just add some extra things because we want to retrieve additional fields which are say email or phone information, all those details. So that's where we'll add some additional parameters to this action. Say one of the parameter we add is expand. That will be our query parameter. So these are all our standard OData API convention. So we put $expand and we put the values here, say um, email nav, phone nav, or personal info nav. So these are the values. Also, one more thing we have to add is as of date, because if we have say future hire records, future hire onboards, then we still need to put the as of date so that we can get the future data also. So we put this parameters here. Both of them are query parameters, as of date and query as of date and expand. If you want, we can do a test also here, but for now we'll skip that. So here is where our API, the per person API is ready. We save this, we publish this actions project. Yeah, release and publish it. Right, so this project is now published and ready to be used. We come back to our verification process. Now here, first step we do is we try to get the person's data using the action which we just created. So we click on action here, browse all actions. Right, so this one get entity from per person by key. This was the project which we just created. So we click on add. Yeah. So the action got added. We have to configure this action. Destination variable, we can give it some name. And later we'll have to, while deploying it, we'll have to link this to an actual destination which we would have created in the BTP cockpit. So this would be the SuccessFactors OData destination. So I'm calling it as EC API. You select create this destination. Inputs we need is these are the parameters which we defined in the action. So say person ID external. Person ID external, we get it from the process input. So the input is the event which we are receiving. That event, it contains the person ID external. So that's what we select as the person ID external. Similarly, for the as of date, again, we get it from the event itself. In the event, we have something called as target date. So this is the date for which we are hiring the onboarding. So that's the date we select. And then for the expand, again, we can define whatever additional information we need. Uh, so we need, say, email, personal info, nav, and phone. So these are the expands we are defining. Right. So we are done with this first action. So we are now with this, we'll be able to get more data for that particular onboarding. Next step, with this data, we want to generate a approval form. We want to send an approval form to the background verifier with this data. So we go ahead and create a approval form. We click on approval here. Say create a new form. Give it a name. Right. So this form is created. We'll go and first design this form with the fields which we want to show. So again, all these things without any code, all using the low code capabilities. So we go ahead and add couple of fields here. Say we add first name, last name, email address, phone number, and maybe say country of birth. So these are the fields we are adding. All these fields, the data would be coming from our API. So in the form, these fields would be read-only fields. Right? So we mark all of them as read-only fields. We don't expect the verifier to modify any of this field. We have one more field which we can call it as comments. So the verifier could add any comments if they need. And this field we can keep it as editable. We mark it as required. So they will put any comments around the verification. And it has the approve and reject buttons already as the standard approval form. We save. So here our form is designed very easily. We could define this form with all the fields which we want to populate here. So the form is defined. Now we map those inputs from the API to the form. So we come back to our process here. In the background verification, okay, we'll put some subject. So this goes as the subject of the form. Verification needed for, say, we put that external ID of that person. So this becomes the subject. We put the recipients who should get this form. So we are putting a particular email. We could also put the group of emails here. Then we go and input. So yeah, here is where now we have to define the inputs which will be shown in that form. So we can see this the action which we had added, get entity from per person. That action is also available here. So first we are mapping country of birth. So say country of birth, email address. So here email address, first name. Okay. These are all the multiple expands which are available. So first name is here. Similarly, last name also we can map here. Then say phone number. Okay, this is address. Right, phone number here. So we mapped all these fields from the action, our action, which is getting the data from SuccessFactors per person. So yeah, so our form is also now complete. We have defined the form and all the inputs are also mapped. Now what we have done is the event will be triggered. You get the data from person. You map that, you build a verification form which will be sent. Now, once that verification form is sent, the form would either be approved or rejected. And accordingly, based on approval rejection, we want to update that status back to SuccessFactors. Now, to do that, to update that status back to SuccessFactors, again, we'll have to call some of the onboarding APIs. So again, we save this project here. But as a next step, again, we'll have to invoke some of the actions. So we go back to actions. We create one more actions project now. Select the source as Accelerator Hub, SuccessFactors, and this time onboarding APIs, say extension APIs. Yeah, retrieve and process extension tasks. And this is the API which we add. And these are both the actions we'll need. With the get API, these are the parameters process ID. Yeah, we have to define the output here. So I can upload the output. So there is a sample file which the sample content will also find it in the Accelerator Hub. But this is the sample content which would come as the output of this API. So we use this content for the, yeah, save it. And there is another API to update the status back. We can also see the different values which are valid values for status, say resume or cancel. These are the values which we could send as the status of that extension. Yeah, so we saved this, we release and publish this extension project. This action project. Right. So our project, this again, like a project is ready to use here. We'll go only with the one flow, but similarly, we could build the reject flow as well. For now, we'll just build the approve flow. So here we choose the action. Right. So first we have to do is we need to retrieve the extension related details. So we click this project. Okay. So this is to retrieve the extension task. Similar things here, again, destination variable. I call it onboarding API. Inputs, yeah, only one mandatory input, which is the process ID, which again, we get it from the event data, the onboarding process ID here. Right, so that completes this extension task. This basically gives us all the extension task and their IDs. Now we want to update that task back to SuccessFactors. For that, we make again the API call. Now this time it will be the update API. Right, so this the API to update extension task. We add that API here. Destination variable we reuse. This is again onboarding API. And then process ID. Similarly, we get it from the event input. Comments. Now we can map from the form, the verification approval form. From there, we map the comments. Status, because we are in the approval form, we say status is resume. So it's like we are approving this particular extension and it could resume the regular process. Task ID, we'll get it from the extension API, which we have called just in the previous step. Right. So these are here we complete all the required inputs to update that extension task. So this is how our flow looks like. We get the data, generate the approval form, and then based on approval, we update that status back to SuccessFactors. We save this flow, release it, and also deploy this. Right. So while this is getting deployed, okay. So here while deploying it, we have to choose the destination. So here in this system, we have the destinations already created. So that's something you create using the BTP cockpit. The standard SuccessFactors destinations could be created and we'll choose those destinations, deploy it. Yeah, so this process is ready to be used. Now we come back on the SuccessFactors side. So our process is now defined. So our design time, all the configurations, those are done. We want to try this process now. So we go to onboarding dashboard. Yeah, so this is extension is ready and deployed. Here on the SuccessFactors side, we are on the onboarding dashboard and say I have a new hire available in the system called Simi Garg. So this candidate is currently, if we see the status of this candidate, it is currently in the review new hire data step. So our extension is, once this step is completed, the extension will be triggered. So we click on start here. So basically, as an hiring manager or HR admin, we are reviewing this new hire data and we complete that initial review of that data. Okay. Okay, the data is loading. Yeah, so we see this is all the data which is available. We continue. right? All this email information, say phone number, if it needed, we just add one phone number here, right? And we say it is a primary phone number. All this information, the data is already there, and we are okay for that date with that data for now. So we just go ahead and continue here. Right. So all this information is available in the system, and we say submit. So this is basically we completed the new hire review process, that particular step. Right. We'll just reload the page here. Right. So we see the new hire data review is completed, and it also shows the next step, which is an extension step. Right. And also now if we go back to the process automation part on the BTP build side, we should see that it should trigger the process which we have just deployed. We go to monitoring here, process. Yeah, so we see the background verification flow. This process has been triggered, and the task also has been created. Now this task would be available in the inbox. So I've opened the inbox here, and we already see there is one entry, background verification needed for a particular new hire. So it shows the candidate first name, last name, email, the phone number which we entered, country of birth, all those information. So the verifier will perform the verification process, and then either they can approve or reject. For now, we say all looks good, approved, and click on approve. Right, this should update the process status back on the SuccessFactors site. So we come back to SuccessFactors here, click on refresh. Yeah, so we see the extension is completed. We can also see the comments which were entered on the approval form. So this is how the complete extension work. You had a standard process, you created an extension, you are able to block the standard process, complete the extension, also come back to SuccessFactors, resume the process. So this is one such example. There could be many such examples where you want to, customize your standard processes of SuccessFactors. And with using this wizard and the BTP capabilities, that becomes really simple. Yeah. So this is all about the custom process. We'll quickly move into the next type of extension, which is custom card. Now, here with the custom card, what we have is in the SuccessFactors. So this is a different kind of extension. Now in SuccessFactors, we have the people profile page that shows some of the standard cards currently, but then you as a customer, you want to show some extra, the custom cards. For example, you have your custom application which is running on BTP. We'll take an example, which is, say you have an IT assets application which is holding the assets. I mean, so for each employee, what are the IT assets? That kind of information you are maintaining using that custom BTP application. Now you want to show that IT assets information also on the SuccessFactors people profile page. uh, I mean that gives a standard, a unified view of all the data that particular employee has. So this is the people profile page. You have the standard cards, and along with the standard cards, you want to introduce one more custom card. To do that again, so we'll go to configure latest people profile page. Yeah, before that, I'll just show that we already have this IT assets application which is running. So it is built using BTP CAP application, and you could also use the Joule related capabilities. So in the business application studio, you could also enable Joule, and then using Joule, you could give your commands, describe your application needs, and you could build that application directly using Joule also. So this is also one such application built using Joule. I mean, it makes it very quick that we can build the application. So it is built and deployed on the BTP now. So these are the assets a particular employee is holding.
Twinkle, we're seeing new hire details onboarding screen. Is that the correct screen? Should be looking.
Okay. No, I think, okay, 1 second. Yeah, thanks, Srinivasan, for that. Yeah, so here, yeah, we'll move into the second extension, which is the card extension. For that, I was talking about this IT assets application here. Yeah. So this is the application I was talking about, which we could build using the Joule capabilities. So the app, it shows what are the assets available. Now, this data is what we want to show on the employee's profile on the SuccessFactors side. Now, to do that, we go to configure latest people profile. Say we select, or we can add a new category here. Right? We are creating a new category here. And again, the same similar process of clicking on create extension as well on this page. So you click on create extension. Now this time, instead of choosing process type of extension, what we want to do is we want to create a card, which is an UI kind of extension. So we select user interface extension. It also says now this is also a kind of side-by-side extension. So it says the card will be built using BTP. So we select UI interface extension and we want to create a Fiori card. So that's the type of project. We see all the different types of cards which you could create. So for now, for our use case, we select one of them, say the highlight card. Basically, we want to show the list of assets. So that's what we select here. Click on next. We give it some name, say IT assets. Okay, this already exists. We'll call it my IT assets demo. To show, right? And we select the dev space here. I mean, you could, if there are any spaces already created, we can choose from it, or we can create a new space as well. So why this concept of dev space? This is going to create a project in Business Application Studio. So that's where the concept of dev space comes in here. So the project name, all these details are given. We review it. Yeah, it looks okay. The name and description, click on create. So if you remember with the custom field, it created an initial project for us in the process automation. In case of custom card, it will create an initial card for us in the business application studio. Yeah, this sometimes it might take some time, but in our flow, maybe while it is created, okay, the flow is created. I'll just go back step to show what all steps we are going to do, right? So we talked about the CAP application, which is already existing. There is a destination which you'll have to configure. This will show in a while. And then this is the steps we are at. So create a card. So we created a card using the wizard. Next step, we have to design that card. So basically, what gets created is a basic template, the initial standard template, but we'll have to modify it to put the data of our IT asset. So that's what we'll do as the next step. So the extension is now available. We click on open extension here. Right, so it is going to launch our project, the card project in the application studio. Right, so we see this initial project is created. We can also see a manifest JSON file which got created here. And can also see the preview of the card. So this will look very similar to what we could see on the wizard. So it created this, but what it has is an initial template and with the mock data, right? With some mock data just for the preview purpose. We go ahead and we have to modify this so that we can pull the details from our IT assets application. So I'll just replace the content, we'll go over it. So there is an ID for our card, there is a version to it, and then the main changes are here. So what it had earlier was it had some mock data. Now what we want to do is we want to pull the data from our IT assets application. To do that, we need to make some API calls. For that, we are changing this data as the API request. So instead of having a hard-coded data, we have changed it to an API endpoint. So this endpoint is again exposed by this CAP application, the IT assets CAP application. This application is also exposing an API. So we get that call that API to get the assets data. So we have configured that API request here. And if you notice, we have put a destination name here. So this is the destination where the endpoint of that IT assets application needs to be configured. Right. So here on the SuccessFactors side, now this destination, if you go to Security Center, and destination settings, we find we have already created a destination with that name, My IT Asset Service. So that's the name we are using here. That means it is going to pull the data from this particular endpoint exposed by our IT assets application. Yeah, so that's one of the setup part. Now we are back here. The assets card is designed. So we define the destination. We have also mapped the fields from that API to our card. So the API had some of these fields which we have mapped. Now, what we do next is the card is now designed ready. We go ahead and say deploy this card to SuccessFactors because that's where we want to use this card. We select the SuccessFactors API endpoint. Yeah, so it says the card is deployed. Now, the card is available to be used in SuccessFactors. Now we are back in the configure latest people profile page, the new category which we created. You click on add card here. We see a new option which is a BTP build cards. So far we had the capabilities to add MDF based cards or background element or user information related card. Now we have a new option which is custom BTP build card. Click on this apply. Now this should show all the list of cards which we would have deployed using this application studio. So we see this drop down. The card which we just deployed is, we called it dev demo IT assets v1.0. So we can deploy multiple versions also, but yeah, so we select this particular card here and save. So this is about the configuration. So as in, the HR admin, they go ahead and configure this card on for the people profile. Now the configuration is done. Now, if we want to see it, so if we go to say one of the employee profile, we click on my employee file here. Yeah, so this is the employee profile as we were seeing it has all the standard categories with the standard cards, but then we should also see the new category which we created. Okay. Mm, let's check what we call that category. Or we can add the same card to some of the existing category. Okay, it says assets demo. We'll also just, since that category is not showing up, we'll add the same card to say one of the, so it could be added either to a new category or any of the existing categories as well. We'll add it to the existing category also. Same dev demo card we have selected here. Okay, and we go back to the employee file. Okay, our new category is not showing up, but then Yeah, hopefully. So we added the same card to personal data category as well, and that card is now visible here, right? So it shows the assets which were available in our CAP application, the IT inventory app. Because we also designed the application, the card in a way that we can also do a navigation, click on more details. It takes us back to the IT assets application. So you showed some basic overview data from your third part from your custom application, and then we can give a link to that application to do any other maintenance or modifications to that data there. Yeah, so this is how the custom card could be added. So now in addition to the standard cards and the cards based on MDF and all the success factors capability, you could also get a lot of flexibility that you could design your card in a way you want using the standard the build card approach. You design them, integrate your custom applications there, and you see all that information from success factors, outside success factor, all that information under the same view of the employee file. So yeah, this is the second kind of extension we wanted to talk about. So we talked about yeah, here we can just see this were the steps high level. We had that CAP application. We configured the destination where we are pointing to that BTP application API. We created a card using the wizard. We modified it, we deployed that card, and then configured it in the people profile page. So these were the standard steps which we did to get that card showing up in the people profile page. Yeah. So far we covered two kinds of extension. One is the custom process extension, where you could extend any of the standard processes. Next we did was a custom card kind of extension, where now you are able to add if you have your BTP application, you can pull the data from that application and show it as a card on the standard people profile pages. Now we'll talk about the third kind of, yeah, so demo we covered. Third kind of extension, which is custom field. Now, the previous two, the custom process and card, both of them were side-by-side extensions because your actual application or the processes were running out of SuccessFactors. Now this is the third kind of extension, which is custom field. Now this one is the in-app extension. So this here, your extension is deployed within SuccessFactors. So you already have, say, we provide a lot of capabilities where you could add custom fields. You could add custom fields to your EC objects. It could be added to your MDF objects. So those capabilities are there. Using Wizard, we are streamlining or unifying that experience of adding those custom fields to the standard SuccessFactors object. We'll take one of the example. So for custom field, again, we are on the, yeah, we can go to configure people profile page. Say you are on this page, you are selecting one of the category. So you are say on the personal data category here, you have couple of cards showing up. So basically you have information which is coming from different objects, which is visible on this particular category. Now, as an admin, there is a need to extend. You want to add some custom fields to some of this standard objects. Again, the same process, all that unified experience. So we click on create extension again here. Now along with the UI extension, we can also see one more type of extension, which is the custom field extension, right? So it says it is, you see it is going to add a custom field and then it will be deployed within SuccessFactors. So we select custom field here. So these are the objects. These are all the standard objects which are exposed on this particular page. So these objects are seen here. Now we take one use case. Say I want to add one information to a biographical information field. We select that particular object here and click on next. Right. So you see, it knows where you could add a custom field to this particular object. So it lands us to the existing configuration UI within SuccessFactors. It also selected our object which we wanted to extend. So we say we add a custom field. I select string 1 and say I want to add preferred name as one of the custom field here. right? So we can configure that field, all the configurations possible here. We can put a label and other details here and save it. Yeah, so this is so it says you have successfully extended the object, and any other post steps which needs to be done, right? Any permissioning, all those still remains as it is. So those things need to be still done. So this is one. And now again, say now we have another use case on the custom for the custom field. So this time we selected one of the employee central objects. So it navigated us to the business configuration page. We take another example where we choose, say, one of the object which is MDF based, so payment information. So as an user of this wizard, you don't need to be aware the subject belong to which product of SuccessFactors, but then the wizard itself is intelligent enough to land you on the correct page where you could just go ahead and start extending that object. So we see this time it lands us to configure object definition page. The object is also already selected, and we could add a custom field. Say we add currency exchange rate, right? So any custom field which we wanted to add, we can just add that field and save that. Right. So here also it says extension completed, and if any other further processing is needed, it gives a note about that as well. Yeah, so this is the third kind of extension, which is in-app extension. You are able to add the custom fields. These are existing capability of in-app extension, but then with the wizard, you get a unified experience and you don't have to worry that object belong to which module, how you can extend it. The wizard will guide you through that experience. Yeah. So these are the three kind of extensions we wanted to talk about. Some of this, say the custom process and the custom field, they will be available as the global availability as part of the coming SuccessFactors release, the 2511 release. The third one, which is about the custom card on the PPX, that would be part of the early adopter care program. So if anyone is interested in trying out that feature, the custom card feature, you could reach out to this context on the screen, and then those could be, I mean, you could enroll to the EAC program for custom card. Yeah, that is all. Srinivasan, back to you. I'm done with this. Yeah.
Okay, Twinkle. Yeah. Thank you very much. It was very easy to understand session. Um, so I don't see any outstanding questions in the chat.
Mhm.
So if a note to the participants that the validation tutorial will be updated and be available in the YouTube description later today. And if you're watching the replay, you can post your questions in the comment section and we'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you everyone for joining us and see you in the next tooling and front end session, which begins in 2 hours. Bye bye.
Thank you.